So good morning to all the parents. It's a beautiful Sunday morning and we are having a parenting workshop today. And the resource person for this workshop is Dr. Tarang Shukla. She's a corporate trainer and does lectures and workshops for institutions, corporates and organizations since 12 years now. She has been conducting a special program for teenagers by the name of Teenage Prepares since 2014. It's a program to develop life skills, grooming, and health for teenagers. She's also a dental surgeon and is working with kids since last 20 plus years. She is an MBA and a student of Tata Institute of Social Studies. She's also a trained yoga instructor for children since 2009. Recently, we also did a workshop for teachers and for parents of age group 3 to 12 years and saw a full house and lots of good learning. So Dr. Tarang Shukla, I really welcome you on behalf of Shanti Asiatic School.
Thank you, Shivani ma'am.
So before we start, I personally have few questions so that, I'm sure the parents will also have these. So I'll just ask on their behalf and then maybe you can take over. The first, what I want to know is what stimulated to design this innovative workshop, which you call Teenage Prepares?
Teenage always need to be prepared. That's what us as elders and us as parents and teachers think. But the teenage thinks that they are already prepared. So between that two perspective of preparing a child and being prepared, we have to play the game and learn what they want to learn, and we should be able to do it at the best. So I do work with teenagers, and they have a different perspective of how parenting should happen. Yeah. And somehow we do contrast parenting compared to what they expect us to do. So understanding that today is the key concept.
Okay, yeah, true. So what should parents accept from, they expect from today's 60-minute session? We have 1 hour to go, and I'm sure it's going to be very interesting.
Interesting, I'm sure. I just want that all parents are good and all type of parenting is good. And we've already come halfway through. We've got the child up from 0 to 13 plus now. So we've done a very brilliant job. So I just want them to listen to me as a co-parent and not as a speaker or a guest faculty, because I think none other and never ever it has happened that a parent has designed a workshop for a co-parent to help in such a critical topic. So if I put in so much efforts and Shanti Asiatic has put in so much efforts, so 60 minutes we deserve.
Yes, true. No, I think it's going to be great. So then all your workshops, I have seen that you request parents to write along with you. So why this paper and pen method? Like, you follow this method a lot. So anything behind it?
As teachers, of course, and as parents, we know that when the child writes, we ask them to write. We don't tell them, okay, learn your keypads. We always ask them to write from ABCD. So whenever we write, we are stimulating all our 5 sense organs. So that makes a lot of sense. So I request all the parents, along with Shiva ma'am, to sit along with a pen and paper. I always sit with mine. So that whenever, sometimes you have these points which you listen and you say, okay, abhi samajh nahi aaya, I want to chew on it later. So we'll work on that later. So, but you should have the points clear.
Okay.
So making notes is very important.
Yes, I agree. So all of us have been parenting our children since 12 plus years now. So what is that we need to learn new now from this?
Only when you hear, you'll know.
Yeah, I think we are all keen to hear. So I think I will not waste much time. Parents, I request you to sit with paper and pen during this session, as this is going to be very interesting 1 hour. And this program also has a very creative name, Zanshin Haiva, Half-Time Teen Parenting. I'm sure all of us are waiting to know what's in store. So let's begin. Over to you, Dr. Tarang.
Thank you so much. So, hello parents. Hello team from Shanti Asiatic. And I would initially want to thank Mr. Meet Shukla for helping me with the technical part. Great. So I would want you to sit comfortably, like you sit for a meditation class. Probably have your headphones ready, not being disturbed for another 40 to 60 minutes. You may wonder, what am I going to talk about? And gradually the mystery will unfold. But what I request is that in case in the middle you are disturbed or you want to leave, please go back to this video. One line from this, any one line you choose, and make it your mantra as a parenting. From my experience of more than 10 years now, I'm sure it's going to be working for you miraculously. Don't trust my word. Just be with me for another 40 to 60 minutes. Let's start. Great. So I'm sure you can see this interesting name and a big screen, and it says Genshin Haiwa, Understanding Your Unoccupied Mind, Half-Time Teen Parenting. So before we start, wherever you are, I want you to say a very nice poem that I have written while I was designing this workshop. It's moreover like a pledge. So I want you to repeat in your mind if you want to really enjoy. So first thing is we take 3 deep breaths so that we are here together. We are on the same page. So one breath inside and out. Another in, out, in and out. Great. So as I say this poem, repeat after me so that you start feeling the workshop's vibe already. And the poem goes, repeat after me. Wherever you are, start repeating. ऐ मेरे बढ़ते बच्चे, मेरा हाथ तेरे सिर पे. ऐ मेरे बढ़ते बच्चे, मेरा हाथ तेरे सिर पे. मैं बोलूं के रहूं चुप, मैं बोलूं के रहूं चुप. तुझे सच में ये बताऊं, ये खेल जिंदगी का कभी हार होगी तेरी, कभी जीत लाजमी है. कभी हार होगी तेरी, कभी जीत लाजमी है. मैं रहूं के छुप के देखूं, मैं रहूं के छुप के देखूं. तुझे खेलते हैं रहना, मुस्कुराहट पे तेरी. मैं जाऊं वारी वारी. ऐ मेरे बढ़ते बच्चे, मेरा हाथ तेरे सिर पे. And there is half of it poem, which I will say in the end. So what this means is that we have to learn the art of parenting wherever we are, in whatever situation we are. We have always given since so many years perfect parenting that we could. Coming to Genshin Haiwa, coming to what is Genshin Haiwa. Genshin Haiwa, basically, it's a Japanese martial art form, is Genshin, and Haiwa is calmness of your mind. So for doing a teen parenting, you require to work your mind towards calmness. Keep your mind unoccupied to do a perfect type of parenting. Teen parenting is different from parenting you have done before. Before, if you see the video, there is already a video on Shanti Asiatic where I worked with children of 3 to 12 years parents. You can see that in those parenting types, we had to categorize the parents. Here, we have to categorize the teen. So the game is different now. There, you could modify the child. Here, we have to modify ourselves. So let's see how. Next slide, please. So as the name suggests, half-time teen parenting. What is half-time? I'm sure most of you are good players from your younger days. Half-time is also written as half-time, and it is the name given to the interval between 2 halves of the match. So we are living a match that we have lived with our child for so many years. Typically after half-time, team swaps ends on the field, and in order to reduce any advantage that may be gained from wind or slope or this playing surface. So now what has happened is, next slide. Whatever I'm going to talk from now on is going to be my view. You may consider it to be a fiction, a work of fiction. You may think it is untrue. So consider it to be fiction. If you think it is true, consider it non-fiction. If you think you want to go back to it and do a fact check, please do that. If you think it relates to your story, please consider it to be a true story. If you think it's too good to be a story, consider it as a fairy tale. If you think, oh God, teenage is such a horror, drama, full of love, or it will involve a lot of science, please go ahead and find out your way. And if you think nothing of this, you have to think of karma, that today we are sitting together for this 40-60 minutes. It is some universal power which is telling us what we need to do further. So for that universal power, let's begin. Next slide. Before we start, I would like to give you a disclaimer that we discuss only what we can be discussed with, what we can discuss on the public domain. So it's very important that there are personal things which teenage parent would want to know, a teenager would want to know, that we could have a session on one-to-one, but on what we can discuss on public domain is what we are going to discuss today. I'm talking to you as a fellow parent, not as a speaker. As I mentioned earlier, that I have put in efforts and my almost 10 years of experience with teenagers to design this workshop, one of its kind. So I would request you to please be patient and listen to what I have to say. The views are based on the Google form given to the students and the parents prior to the workshop. And believe me, it was a game changer when I was listening on reading to the Google forms from the parents and the students. It was a miracle of designing a great workshop. All parenting styles are perfect. Let me tell you that you're doing a brilliant job. It's just that we want to be a little better every time, aim for perfection every time. That's what this program will help you for. And we have crossed 75% of parenting. What I mean to say is that from 0 to 12 years, almost half of the parenting is done. Till 18, you'll be able to parent your child. After that, the child will become your parent. So we have done this with flying colors. And a teen has his mind, his own mind, and they are smarter adults in making. So they are more, you will agree that they are more smarter, they are more straightforward, they are more gadget friendly, they understand things better than us now. So we have done a good job on getting them to teenage. Out of the 25% left, we need to give our best shot as we decide the fate of the game. So now is main game that we have to play. So let's play our best game. Great. So what I mean to say from the previous slide is this, that from 0 to 12 years, mostly the parenting is done. And we have now critical game, the end of the game from 13 to 18 years, where we have to play a very good game to give a gist of whatever parenting we have done for all these years. So this is how we can start the game. Your pen and papers ready, please? Okay, you can focus me now so that I can explain this. First rule is complete focus. Just be here, be in the moment and focus on the game of parenting. Can you focus me, Meet? Great. So I have a paper. This was an empty paper and this is how much my mind is occupied now. So this is 30% of the mind if this is a complete paper. So we have to understand, okay, back to the screen. So we have to understand that when you do parenting, which is good parenting, whenever you are with your child or thinking about your child or thinking about parenting, your mind should not be occupied more than 50%. That's very important. So rule number 1, you can write complete focus. If you write, you'll understand it better because it's long slides and you may lose slides in the middle. So it's important that you write at least the rule. So when you play the rule of half-time parenting, first is you should have complete focus. So on a piece of paper, you should design, or now also you can do it if you have a paper, how much mind is occupied. Because as humans, we can work only on the unoccupied mind. So when you are angry on your child, you're upset with your child, you want to expect too much from your child, your mind is more than 50% occupied. And that is not the right time to expect anything from anybody, leave alone a teen child. Next slide. Great. So the game begins now. So what do? You first make a scorecard. Considering that the child will grow, however, जैसे हमने बोला कि वो तो हम सामने से देखें या छुप के देखें. Even if we see the child from front or we see from the hidden doors or windows, we'll find out that they are playing their game, whatever may, they are not understanding. But we are understanding that we are doing something which, if in the game, it can be a goal or it can give us a penalty card. So how does it go? If you have given situations, the child has seen a lot of situations in the house. So if you see a good situation, you're given a good situation in the house, you get a +1. If you are not given such a good situation, you get a -1, right? You'll understand it better when you move ahead. Next slide. So the game before the halftime, what we have done and what the child has seen when he was 0 to 12 years is making him the kind of teenager he's becoming. So when I was going through the Google form, the parent wanted the child to see less gadget, be more involved in studies, have a prayer time, have a time management, be better with their siblings and whatnot. But we have to understand that whatever they have learned and the child that they are becoming is because of what we have done with them and what they have seen in the house from 0 to 12 years. So this is what they must have seen. Next slide. So now you score yourself. If you have given an environment like this, you give yourself a +1. Next. If they have seen an environment as friendly as this, you get a +1. You can score yourself along with the slides. So this is +1. Give yourself a score. Next. If the child has seen you like this, most of the times as a young child in the house, if they have seen you busy all the time, you give yourself a -1. Next. If they have seen you like this, sadly so, you give yourself a -1. If they have seen you like this, having different opinion as parents, you give yourself a -1. If they have seen this kind of a house, again a -1. And if this is the case, +1 for you. And if this is the case, you can assume this to be a father and a son also, +1 to you. So this is how you give yourself a scorecard. So rather than blaming your child or giving your child just like that 8 and 10 marks, the marking has to be given daily to yourself rather than to your child. The child very specifically is mirroring you. Next slide. So first rule was that we draw how much our mind is unoccupied. The second rule was learning to give yourself a score. It can be on daily basis. If you have a fight today, you can score yourself as -1 if your child has seen you fighting. If you've done a good parenting, you think you need a pat on your back, you can give yourself +1. So the game is against yourself, not against your child or your spouse for that matter. Rule number 3, how to up your game. You may ask, okay, now we have scored ourselves and we have lots of plus or lots of minus. The game is still continuing. It's not ended. We are just at the half time. So we need to up our game. If you're playing the best, also we need to up our game. And how? Next slide. So what team players do I have? I have these 3 besides having people around to help my child, besides having schools and teachers and tuitions and extra classes and gadgets and whatnot. For me, my team players as a parent are my body, mind, and hormones. Great. So how do I use it for my benefit? Next slide. So what I need to understand is whenever I'm parenting or whenever I'm asking a child to do this or that or not use the TV or sit in front of the books to study or be kind to his peer or kind to his sibling, I need to work out on what is triggering my emotion. It can be starting from below. It can be a basic trust that is a problem. It can be creativity. I cannot think of innovative ideas to keep my child occupied. Is it my wisdom or power? Is it love and healing that the child is seeking for? Is it communication that I'm not doing good enough with my child, or the child is not able to communicate with me because of some restrictions? Is it awareness that I'm not aware that the child is around and observing me? Is it spirituality that I'm not understanding the deep meaning of having a child and becoming a parent? It can be my physiological systems. It can be my nervous system. I must be angry. It can be my head and neck, a headache or a toothache or something like that, which is a physiological or pathological problem, which is creating me to be an irritable parent for that day. Do I feel tired? Skeletal and muscular system is not working. Do I feel tired? My knees are aching or body pain is there. Most of the times I'm feeling sleepy, lethargic. Is that the case? Respiratory system, am I not able to control my breathing? And am I angry too much? Am I having short breaths? Is my child reading my anxiety? Is that the case? Do I have a digestive system problem? I have constipation, I have loose motion, I have a issue with food, I have some urges for food. Is that the case that I'm not able to do good parenting? It can be excretory system problems or a reproductive system problem. Anything could trigger or do parenting some wrong. We need to understand that there, as I'm a doctor, I need to also mention that there are some glands also which may be involved, like pituitary, pineal, thyroid, thymus, pancreas, adrenal, and gonads. You can also copy this or see it later. This is a very important chart to understand that the glands specifically, the pituitary, the endocrine glands specifically, are taking care of most of our mood swing. Most of our parenting is happening through the hormones. Let's see how. Next slide. So whenever we are angry, this is I'm sure most of the people who are science, have a science background will know it better. But to understand for everybody, whenever I'm angry, whenever I have a mood swing, I'm upset, I had a bad day at work or a fight with a spouse or whatever, my pituitary is stimulated in a wrong way. Whenever I'm not able to sleep right, I have a bad day next day. Whenever I sleep very late or I'm watching phone on TV at night after my child has slept, I have a problem with my pineal gland. If my thyroid has a problem, if my thymus has a problem, or my digestion has a problem, then it can be thyroid, thymus, pancreas. What we talk about adrenal rush, if I have a fluctuation of blood pressure or there is too much stress happening or there's some immunity problem, then my adrenal is to be blamed. And then of course the reproductive organs, when we are not able to control our urges, or when we are too angry, or when we have an issue of basic trust, that's when we need to blame our gonads. So please don't blame yourself in whole. Please work on these glands: pituitary, pineal, thyroid, thymus, pancreas, adrenal, gonads, to make yourself a very good parent. So there's a lot of hormonal imbalance that may happen, which may not be able to help you with good parenting. Next. So great. So now that we know that what are our teammates, we should know that how we should play the game. So if you could just draw yourself with your child, I'll just give you 30 seconds, just a random drawing. Imagine a good day or a bad day with your child, the day which made you proud or the day which upset you. If you could just draw another 10 seconds, roughly whatever comes first to your mind. This is how you start playing the game. You can do it whenever, every day, someday, whenever you feel the need, you can go back to this. Okay, assuming that you have done a drawing with your child, for example, it's a scene where you are shouting on your child, or the child is seeing the phone and not able to listen to you. And if he's not studying, doing his homework, or seeing the gadget for a long time, or sitting for the whole day, or sleeping for a longer hour on a Sunday, whatever it may be, if you have drawn something like that, let's see what we need to do with that drawing. So drawing is a therapy in itself, I may tell you. Let's see what happens next. Next, please. So now you have to analyze once you have drawn. So it doesn't end there. Now you have to start analyzing what your drawing says. Great. So what does it have to say? What the drawing you had made? If it's a happy drawing, then you're good to go. Great. And if it's an unhappy drawing, you see a fight, if you see some sad event or some shouting happening or some hitting, which should not be the case ever, but if that's what you've drawn, you should flip it with a happy drawing. So flipping with a happy drawing and making a drawing in person with pen and paper will surely trigger your hormones to do better parenting. It will also help you analyze the situation better, that how could you have done it better. Another case could be, next slide. Which situation have you drawn yourself in with your child? Are those happy times? It's a birthday, it's a winning race, it's a very happy day, they have scored well, they ran well, or they did very well for their academics, or didn't see the phone that day, or went for a picnic, or talked to you. So you're good to go. But in case it's not so happy times, what you need to do in that case? You need to write 2 points how you could have handled the situation better. Because they are children, they do not know what to do. You are the one who have already lived your teenage years, so you know what mistakes they could have done. So viewing it as empathizing with them, being in their shoe, you should be able to handle the situation better, right? So you should redraw a situation as to how you could have handled it better. So next time when the same situation comes in, you are performing better in that game. Next slide. So Haiwa introspection, this is what I call the calmness introspection. When you know that, okay, today was not such a good day for your parenting, you need to introspect. That's very important every day as a parent, because it's a role that is taking most of your life. You're earning for your child, you're having a safe home for your child, you're providing for your child. So too much is going in your parenting. Almost 70% of life you have given to your child and parenting. So it's very important daily that you should make a scorecard and find out and introspect for yourself. Where are we today? Parenting doesn't happen for years together. It happens every day. Per day, parenting is happening. Every minute you have to change. 1 minute you are angry, the other minute you have to be calm and continue with the game of parenting. So what do you do in this Highwire introspection? Highwire is, as mentioned, calmness. So how do you learn to introspect yourself to reach back to your zen or calmness? This is how you should do it. Next slide. So for example, my name is Tarang. So I say Tarang analysis. For example, your name is Deepak. You can say Deepak analysis, or you say Shivani. So Shivani analysis. So you have to analyze yourself. Most important, don't analyze your child, because he has an individual identity. He's analyzing himself or herself, and he's also analyzing you. So no need to do that. You have to analyze yourself, because you have to up your game. Once you up your game, you'll realize that the child's game is up already. So you have to see whether you are occupied spiritually, mentally, physically, or socially. For example, if you have a body pain, so you're occupied physically, that means that day you will not be able to be a good parent physically. You will not be able to play with them. You will not be able to take them out for a ride. You will not be able to drop them for their tuitions or for their tennis class. Then what can you do? You can take help from what is free. A social circle is free. You can call a friend and ask them to do the needful, drop the child or whatever. You can occupy that child mentally. Okay, let's miss the class today. Let's play some game together. Or you can do it spiritually. Sit for meditation so that you feel physically better. For example, you have been very angry with your child the whole day today. So in that case, you are occupied mentally. In that case, what you need to do is to relax yourself as a parent, do a physical activity with the child, take them out for a picnic or a coffee or a Maggie or whatever, or take them out for social gatherings to a friend, of course, keeping the norms in mind. Or you should just calm down and keep silent and say a sorry to the child. So you are spiritually clear that, okay, now what upset or what anger I had shown to my child, that has not been the case. Now the child and me both are feeling better. So whatever you're occupied with, if it's mental, use the physical, social, and spiritual to help you. If you're physically occupied, use the social, mental, and spiritual to help you. So analyze which part is occupied of you, and then use what is not occupied to do a better game of parenting. Next slide. This is very interesting, journaling. I'm sure most of us have heard. If I may just give you a reference, that we have school diaries. We used to have school diaries, if you remember. We also had some curriculum when we were in college. But what happened is, after we finished our school and our college, we stopped journaling or writing our daily routines. And after the college time only, after we stopped journaling in one way or the other, our life became haywire. We do not know where we are going. Most of us do not have a plan for the day, a plan for parenting. Parenting is a very interesting job, and it cannot be monotonous. You have to do new things in parenting. You have to grow with your child. So journaling can prove as a boon, so that you know how your day has gone and how can you plan your next day. So a few tips for journaling for yourself are, next slide. First is always write a date. You have to always keep a single notebook for journaling. Don't just write on pieces of paper and throw here and there. That would not help you, because journaling is also another way of analyzing how good parent you are. So what you need to do is, you need to have a notebook, a pretty one at that, so that you feel like writing in it. Keep it close to your bedside before sleeping, probably. That's the best time. Or once you wake up, always write a date in it, so you know you can refer it for that particular date. You should always write one line to describe your day. For example, in case of parenting, if you had a very good day, your child won some medal, just write, I had a very great day because my child did good today, without using any low vibration word. In case that day is not so good, you should not write in that my child made me angry today. That's not a good journaling. The journaling should always be a single line to start with, and never have any low vibration word. No, not sad, upset, anger, no such word should enter your journal ever. Because whatever words you think and you speak are the kind of life you're going to live. Next. Gratitude, always say thank you that God chose you to become, or the powers chose you to become a parent and took you so far to become a parent of a teenager. That's a very, very gratitudeful thing in life, because there are so many people who are not blessed with a child. There are so many people who choose not to get married. So they never see the beauty of becoming a parent. And the beauty of becoming a teenage parent is way beyond. It's a class apart. So you have to say your gratitude. Thank you for giving me such an awesome child. And I'm sure that he's going to do great every day. So always write a date, always go back to describe your day with high vibration words, always say your gratitude. So this is how you write, and then in the end, write your name, right? Next. Okay, so when we were talking about the scoreboard, we said that we were talking about the penalty cards or the goals that we get. So we should know that the more we should, once we have our scoreboard for the day, a day can have more goals on, they can have more penalty cards. So we should know that if the day had more penalty cards, we should not expect too much from that day. If we had a bad day at work, if we had a fight in the house, if we had too much of social engagement for the day, if we were online busy for our work, if we had an online meeting or we are working from home, so we are not giving more than 50% to our child. They want undiverted attention. You just sitting there in the house doesn't mean you're parenting. They want undiverted attention. So if you have a penalty card day, don't expect too much from yourself. Be easy on yourself. And if you have a more goal day, of course, that day is worth celebrating. So rule number 7, you should be able to give yourself a true scoreboard, not a fake scoreboard. Of course, everybody wants to give good goals to yourself, but be true to yourself if you want to do true parenting. Next slide, please. Affirmation, there is highest role of affirmations. When I was writing this slide, I also didn't know that when we are talking about affirmations, you must have heard of steroid injections. People with autoimmune diseases get, this is worth listening, please. I will want your attention here, that people with autoimmune diseases going for steroid injections, there are a lot of immunity problems that are solved with the injections. But affirmations can release cortisol, which is a hormone which is secreted by hypothalamus action, the action of pituitary, and the action of adrenal. All these 3 glands are working to release cortisol. I cannot see the slide. Yeah. So affirmations is releasing all cortisol, which is like a steroid. So affirmation has that power that it can heal your body from within. So do not underestimate the power of affirmation. Even if you have a bad day or you do not want to learn anything from this 60 minutes, please learn to say and use your words in a positive way to affirm yourself. I am a good parent. I am doing good parenting. And I have few tips for you. If you don't want to do the efforts of making your own affirmations, you can copy mine. See, this is what I say. So this is a sample what I say. So very important, I am enough and I'm doing quite good. I am enough. So every day when you get up, you say yourself, I am enough. I am a part of a healthy and happy family. I'm living on a healthy and blessed planet. You can also make your own affirmations, but these are what I say. I am a great parent to my teenager, and my child is motivated towards health and career. That is what we want. So these are sample affirmations. You can make your own. First 3, I will suggest you to be making it common, because that's what we all should aim for. And the next 2, you can personalize it according to your teenage or your parenting or your personal needs. So affirmations have a lot of power. They heal you from within. And if you can just go to Google and see that they release cortisol, which is a very, very important hormone. So if you see your affirmations, I'm confident you'll never require your steroid injections ever in your life. They are so powerful, believe me. Next. And this is what we do, negotiations every time. If we go to a vegetable vendor or we want to ask the child to see TV for less time, or we want to our spouse to exercise, or we want ourselves to go to the gym, we negotiate, negotiate, and negotiate. So we should use this trick for our teenager to make them do what is right for them. Very important, I would like to mention that when I was, if you could just focus me. Very important, when I saw the Google form, I have this questions right here. The questions were given, so I have a copy of those questions here. So I asked the teenager the same questions, that if the teenager was asked a question about, the parent said about the question was that, how do you see your parent? So they said, we want the parent to be more concentrating to us rather than their phone or gadget. And the same parent is saying that I want the child to concentrate more on me and consider my word as final. The second question that was, the child is saying that I would score my parent a 6 or a 7. The parent is scoring the same child a 6 and 7. So you should understand that the child is mirroring your action. So what you think the child is not doing, if the child is seeing a lot of TV, you have to see whether you are giving a quality parenting to them. If your child is not listening to you, are you not listening to your child? If your child is arguing with you, is he seeing you arguing with him or somebody else in the house? If the child is not concentrating, are you being sleep deprived? He's just mirroring what he's seeing because he's learning from what he's seeing in the house. And now more so, he's not going to school, not meeting his friends. He's just mirroring what you're doing. So if you're tagging your child, and most of the parents, the happiest memory with the child is when they win something, when they come first, when they score well in a match, or when they do something good. It is not about general, when my child smiles. I have not seen a single parent write, when my child smile, I'm happy. When he sits with me to play, when he talks to me personally, very few parents have written that. So you have set very high standards, very high expectations, which is becoming like a pressure for the child. So don't pressurize them, because you know that balloon also takes certain kind of pressure. If you inflate it too much, it is sure to burst. So when you say that the child is doing negative things, not the things that you want them to do, probably you have inflated the child too much. You need to reduce the pressure and the child will perform and fly better. Yeah. So please listen to this again whenever you can. Go back to this so you know that negotiation, they do not, just don't say a plain no. They do not understand no. No is like a very upsetting word for them, and they want to rebel. No means rebel mode activated. Listen to me again. No to a child, teenage child, means rebel mode activated. So do not say no. Try to negotiate first in your mind to handle the situation, and then with your child, use that negotiation. Okay, don't watch TV for 4 hours. Let's do it for 2 hours. In 2 hours, I'll sit with you to make your homework, finish your homework, something like that. So learn the art of negotiation. Okay, we can go back to the slide. Another few minutes, parents, please bear. Great. Correct breathing, very important. Why do I talk about correct breathing? And I'm going to also demonstrate what is correct breathing. As I'm a yoga trainer, I cannot not enforce the correct breathing technique, because when we get angry, our breathing is different. When we are calmer, our breathing is different. When we are scolding or having a fight or not having a good day, our breathing is different. And breath is only that we have to do parenting. Till we are breathing, we are parenting, right? So very important that if you breathe correctly, you are parenting correctly. And believe me that it is going to turn true when you learn the art of rhythmic breathing, when you learn the art of correct breathing, using all your muscles to breathe, you will realize that you become a calmer person, a better person, and a better parent at that. And it works like magic. Let's see how we can do it. If you could focus me. First, you can tell the 3 types of breathing. These are the 3 pointers for correct breathing. First is diaphragm breathing. Intercostal means between the ribs, and clavicular means the bone in your neck. So these are the 3 types of breathing which are taught in yoga. I will tell you how to do each of this. I'm hoping that the parents can see me. Okay. So the first type of breathing is normal diaphragm breathing. So your diaphragm is something which separates your stomach from your chest cavity, and it is in shape of it's like this, it's like a curve. So whenever you breathe in, it becomes straight, the diaphragm becomes straight. Whenever you breathe out, the diaphragm comes back to the curved position. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. So what you need to do is, I'll tell you 3 breaths. 1 hand on your stomach at your navel, the second hand on your chest like this, and rhythmic breathing. So if you breathe in 3, you breathe out 3 like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So whenever you feel angry, you feel the child is not listening to you, you are having trouble with your spouse, you are having trouble at work, start doing rhythmic breathing. It will set your life in rhythm back. So what you have to do is, it can be 5 for some, 3 for some. One is this: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Through your nose or your mouth. Better through your nose. So this is diaphragmatic breathing. Then we have the intercostal breathing. So our rib cage has various ribs. So between the rib, there is lots of small muscles that are there. So we need to work on that. So you hold your rib cage like this and you start breathing. So your rib cage goes like this. It's called the bucket handle movement. जैसे बाल्टी का bucket का handle move होता है, 1, 2, 3, in, out. So bucket handle movement. This will help you get more oxygen supply to your body and you will be able to think better. Then you have a bone, clavicular bone here. This is a big bone here going in the sleeping way. Above that, there is a cavity. There you put your finger with little pressure and start breathing deep. You'll realize that a lot of effort is required to breathe so deep so that this part is elevated. So the lungs start from here, and most of the problems that are happening for us is because we are not able to fill our chest cavity or our lung cavity from here, right here. So you need to do these constantly. So at least start with 5 a day, each of them. We can go back to the slides now. So breathing has a lot of importance. If you cannot do any of the previous slides that we worked on, and you can just work on these 3 types of breathing, namely diaphragm breathing, intercostal breathing, and clavicular breathing, you're going to do much better. At least I'll say you will score 40% better in the game of parenting. Next. And in final, this is the final picture that we all want. Whatever we have given till now is okay, but this is the final picture where we see our son or our daughter with our grandchildren, and we look so happy and well grade and super fit. So this is the final picture, and I'm sure that whoever has attended this and whoever will see this and learn to twist their game a little bit will surely win the finals. So it's important to win the finals together. So to summarize, what we did was, first point was complete focus, then make a scoreboard, then tip to up your game, draw yourself with your child, Haiwa introspection, the journaling, your scoreboard for the day, the affirmations, the negotiations, and the correct breathing. So you can choose whatever you want out of this and up your game. And thank you for joining in. And next, this is my favorite line. That is, it is not most of us. I mean, most of us in our lives do not get to listen to something like this, but I'm very fortunate that we met today, and we met at halftime, not late. So please utilize this video. Please share and ask your friends to see it if you feel it relevant, and take any one tip or any one word and make it mantra of your life. Your your children, your teen children will feel much better. So we are fortunate that we met at halftime, and there's a big reason behind it. You find your own reasons and play your game very well. Thank you. Haiwa to all. Too much calmness to all. Please stay calm. This phase will too pass too. Thank you. Over to you, Shivani ma'am.
Yeah, hi. So
you're mesmerized, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So I think thank you to you, Dr. Tarang. Your session was really informative for the parents, because teenage parenting, as I always say, is a very I won't say difficult, but a very complicated parenting.
Tricky.
Because I always say that there is a gap between parents and teenage kids. So there's always this issue like, you don't understand me, and the child says that, no, you don't understand me. So that is always happening. And the journal which you have asked the parents to maintain, I think that is going to be a good help to them. So I'll just see if we have any questions right now. Parents, if you want to ask anything to Dr. Tarang, please put your questions in the comment box so that we can take her suggestions, her advice over there.
No problem. Meanwhile, I would like to just mention what I do in my workshops. I have made this fish bowls in the house. आप अपने घर में एक बड़ा सा bowl रख लीजिए और एक जो स्टिक ऑन नोट्स आते हैं, आस्क योर चाइल्ड, गिव देम अ सेपरेट कलर, फॉर एग्जांपल पिंक कलर फॉर द चाइल्ड and yellow color for you. So whatever questions they have, because every time a teenage asks a question, they ask in such a fashion that it results into arguments and fights. So whenever they have a question, they can just write in that and stick it in that bowl, keep it there. When you see that pink sheet, you realize there is a question. It also happens that the child is scared that agar ye pucha to dant padegi, but they have their question in their mind, then they would want to find out their information from wrong sources. So rather than that, they should listen from you. So you don't negotiate or you don't talk to them at that point of time. You just, whenever you read that question,
उसमें प्रश्नों के उत्तर देंगे.
Yes.
आंसर आप आंसर लिख करके येलो चिट में चिपका दीजिए, बच्चे को पता लग जाएगा कि हाँ मेरा आंसर आ गया है. उसके बाद उसको कोई क्वेश्चन होगा, वो आपसे वापस आपसे क्वेश्चन पूछेगा. और आप ऐसे बहुत सारे आर्ग्यूमेंट बचा सकते हैं घर में. यू कैन स्टिक इट टू योर गिव द कलर, कि आपको कोई भी क्वेश्चन आप इसमें चिपका दो, क्योंकि बहुत सारे टीनेज क्वेश्चंस ऐसे होते हैं कि डायरेक्टली पूछे नहीं जा सकते. जैसे मेरे एक वर्कशॉप में किसी ने पूछा कि किसी गर्ल ने पूछा, टीनेज ने, कि मुझे शॉर्ट्स पहनने हैं तो क्यों अलाउ नहीं किया जाता. या बॉय ने पूछा कि मैं जब पूछता हूँ कोई क्वेश्चन किसी एजुकेशन के बारे में या कोई अपनी बॉडी या अपने प्यूबर्टी के बारे में, तो मुझे पापा क्यों नहीं बताते या सीधे आंसर क्यों नहीं देते. तो देयर समथिंग आप बोल नहीं पाएंगे, आपके लिए भी प्रॉब्लम है, बच्चों को सुनने के लिए भी प्रॉब्लम है. सो इट्स बेटर उनको एक रेफरेंस दे दीजिए या गूगल का कुछ प्रिंट आउट निकाल के दे दीजिए और एक अलग कलर की चिट के उसको भी दिख जाएगा कि आंसर उसमें पड़ा है. सो दैट इज अ वेरी वेरी यूजफुल टिप if you use it.
Yeah, I think that's a great tip. I don't think we have any questions, Dr. Tarang. I think we can end the session on this note, and I would say thank you so much for giving us your time on Sunday morning. And I think the parents would have enjoyed the session, I'm sure. So let's see if we get any feedbacks on that, and I'll definitely get back to you. So on behalf of Shanti Asiatic School, I would like to thank you once again, and I'm wishing we could have more sessions like this in future. Maybe on some other topics. Right?
Okay, I'm looking forward. And any questions, if you have parents, if you cannot put it right now,
Yeah.
you can post it later, and I'll make sure that they are answered
Definitely
in my best capacity.
I'll do. Okay,
And
thank
please
you
make
so
sure
much.
to
Thank you,
share it.
parents. Yeah, thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Meet.